Hello there and welcome to one of the other Devblog videos. This is for the Avro for Shackleton Mk.2, nicknamed the Flight of 1,000 Rivets. Here we can see it flying, it's a British aircraft. The Avro Shackleton is a long-range bomber multi-purpose maritime patrol aircraft, built as a counter to the increasing threat of Soviet submarines in the early days of the Cold War. All War Thunder player pilots and fans of British aviation may look forward to having the chance to pilot the beautiful Shackleton. Coming into the game with the updates directed might actually be the second aircraft I try to research, even though I'm not really flying Britain actively. Shackleton Mk.2 Bomber Britain, rank 4. Its pros is a very good, well, a good bomb payload, and the cons is like strict to protect the lower hemisphere. So, well, I'm just going to assume that is the case because they didn't really expect anything to attack it from below because they're probably going to fly at a lower altitude. Anyways, let's get into the history. Following the end of World War II and going into the Cold War era, submarine development had picked up so much momentum that the previously used submarine counters quickly became obsolete. In addition to this, Britain was faced with a lack of capable long-range maritime patrol aircraft after it was forced to return the Lend-Lease B-24 Liberator bombers it received during wartime. A stopgap solution in the form of a modified version of the Lancaster bomber was created, but the need for a dedicated maritime patrol aircraft became more and more emphasized in the post-war period. Development of the Avro Shackleton began in 1945 after the British Air Staff expressed an interest in the conversion of the Avro Lincoln bomber into a general reconnaissance as well as a rescue aircraft. As a result, the Avro Type 696 was designed. The Type 696 was primarily based on the Avro Lincoln bomber, but also borrowed some design solutions from the Avro Tudor airliner, of which the latter two downstairs were derived designs of the famous Avro Lancaster. The first prototype, designated Shackleton GR1, successfully performed its maiden flight in March 1949 and was shortly afterwards ordered into production. The Avro Shackleton entered service with the Royal Air Force in February of 1951. The aircraft performed several roles, ranging from its primary Royal Maritime Reconnaissance over escort and transport duties to search and rescue while being employed all across the globe. However, the aircraft saw numerous modifications during its lifetime, aimed at increasing its capabilities and addressing reliability and structural problems, although at the expense of added weight. The Shackleton and its variants continued to serve throughout the Cold War era, and in the late 80s, the Avro Shackleton was finally considered obsolete. So it had a relatively long serving time. And it looks very unique in my personal opinion. Like, it's hard to describe, but the front looks a little bit like they tried to design one of those futuristic cars, right? In the 80s, that was a huge thing to make cars that were supposed to look modern. Um, yeah, science fiction kind of way. That is as good as I can explain what I think I'm seeing here. So overall, I think it's a fairly nice looking aircraft. Um, Hold on, here it says, uh-huh. Okay. Players may already notice some of the legacy design solutions that got carried over to the Shackleton from the Lincoln, such as the wings, engine nacelles, and dorsal turrets. A unique characteristic of the Shackleton is its power plant choice, namely its only British piston engine aircraft of its size powered by the Rolls-Royce Griffin 57 engine, and four of them at that. Furthermore, the design also fitted the Shackleton with two contra-rotating propellers for each engine in order to effectively deal with engine torque. Admitted, it does look nice, doesn't it? Yeah, I think so too. When it comes to armaments, the Shackleton was well equipped to perform its role of maritime patrol thanks to the spacious bomb bay. And the Shackleton can bring up to 12.5 thousand pounds of ordnance to the battle, consisting of a wide selection of bombers of various calibers as well as RP-3 rockets. Thanks to a long combat endurance and a massive bomb load, no matter where the Shackleton operates or whatever targets need to be destroyed, it will fire at home. So it has a very large payload with roughly 6,000 kilograms or 6 tons. That isn't bad, I would say. And here it doesn't say anything interesting. For the design, I personally think it's, well, as I just said, it's a very unique, but I would say neat looking aircraft. It's definitely not one I already heard of, so that's something new. And it's nice, I guess, that Britain gets something again. If I'm not mistaken, they also get a tank, because so yeah, that's kind of nice. I might go and research this aircraft as well. It's also definitely very unique looking. Like I can't really think of any aircraft that looks too similar to it. Like as they just described, that has elements of the Lincoln bomber, but I still think, especially with the nose, it's fairly unique looking. So yeah, I think overall it's a nice addition. You can of course tell me what you think, and otherwise, like always, goodbye.